truly what I needed was for him to know what the sacrifice involved there felt like.
I would question my friends after that.
Number one, you're allowed to update your preferences
Yeah.
through a long-term relationship.
You are a reasonable person who assumed that your friends would respect your home.
Just read to him what you wrote out to us.
Hi, babies. Welcome back. This is Not For Everyone. I'm Jess, your lover, and I'm with Caroline, your hater. It's a
Wow.
podcast hosted by a hater and a lover. Today, we're trying something new, and I'm pretty excited about it. Caroline, I got to give you credit for the idea, and I feel like you need to back up and tell us where the idea came from. I mean, I know, but tell the listeners where the idea came from. We're doing an Am I the Hater this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing a full episode. We did one little segment of an Am I the Hater where listeners send in nuanced or complicated situations where there's, reasonably a bunch of different opinions and takes you could have on it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to give our dirty old opinions and talk it through. And for these, we're definitely looking for situations where like it's not as clear cut. It takes some discussing for all of us. And the reality is there's not usually one right answer, but it's fun. It's fun to explore. It's fun to navigate. It's fun to hold space. And then we're gonna decide whether you're the hater or not for these listeners who send it in. And
Yeah.
this was inspired by there's like an internet framework that's called like Am I the Asshole? I feel like it's usually on Reddit. And I like reading those sometimes where it's basically this format, but we've called it hater just because,
Because branding. Because
Yeah.
branding. And because, yeah, I like it a lot because it's not advice. Like, there is a subtle difference as I was reading through submissions for Am I the Hater? There's a subtle difference in how listeners submitted topics for this versus topics for like a what to do. The
Ooh,
what to do's, people are asking, like, I have this situation. What should I do about it? And for this,
yeah.
it's way more like a situation
Judgment.
already happened. And
Judgment.
like, I'm kind of looking back on it, wondering if I'm the asshole, if I'm the
Yeah.
hater. So I like that about it. Like, we're not going to give you like direction in this episode, which I feel like sometimes is what people are asking for. And we try to do, and it's decent.
I
Um,
think there's still direction embedded in it. Like when I was looking through
Probably.
the things people submitted, yeah,
Well,
you're
there's a
still gonna
little
have
bit of like what
takeaways.
we would do, maybe. I don't know. I think we get to be a little judgy, which I appreciate. We get to
It's
be a little
everything.
judgy because you volunteered your stories, and we're gonna say if we think you're a hater or not. But guess what? Being a hater is also not a bad thing because we are that.
It
So
better not
it's
be
all
since
fine.
apparently that's my entire personality.
Apparently, it's our personalities are just the one thing that we say in the intro of the
That's the only
podcast.
thing. I'll say
Um,
one note quickly on judging. I think I've talked before on here about, there's all this like no judgment shit
yeah.
that's gone around for years, and I kind of feel like we've started to weasel our way out of that. But I still felt like a lot of maybe negativity and shame around like, oh, no one's supposed to be judging. But one of the biggest things that my therapist has like kind of pushed me on over the last year was being honest about when you are judging something, and that's just a human thing. And I think, there was probably I think I was talking through, some difficulty with Justin or something. This was
Yep.
some months ago. I can't remember what it was, but I was, talking to my therapist about it, and I was like, "Well, I'm not judging him about this. I'm not judging. It's just that I think this would be better for blah blah blah." And she was like, "Sounds like you could be judging. Like, is that so bad? Like, that might be a
Yeah.
really important thing to admit because it's going to happen all the time." And it's something that she's pushed me on and in individual therapy and in group therapy, which I'm loving, which is
We
all
haven't
kind
gotten an
of
update on that
so
recently. I
fucking
wasn't sure
good.
if you were still going.
It's like transforming my life. I love group therapy. And
Wow.
basically, group therapy is basically exposing you. You're doing therapy in a group bunch of other people, and you're not therapizing each other, but you're sharing things and then letting yourself encounter your moments of judgment or triggering with other people. And they bring up, oh, I'm really stressed about this. It really stressed me out and I'm having a hard time. And my therapist just last week told me, she was like, you need to be chiming in more, telling
Mm,
people when you have a judgmental reaction to something they're doing, because so much of like the pain and friction and miscommunications and fallouts that happen, especially in our friendships and relationships these days, are from judgments that we hold and we can't own up to, or judgments that we hold and try to swallow because we think the other person won't possibly be able to handle it. And so
yeah.
this group therapy is all about being like, you know what? I have a judgment about the way you're spiraling over this thing. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Why do you even need to do it this way? I think about it this way. And it's so scary to do. And especially with like female friendships, I feel like you're like not allowed to ever have a judgment or blah, blah, blah. But then when I've been pushed to do it in group therapy, I find that in reality, I'm able to say it. I'm able to share this judgment in a much more grounded and sympathetic way than I think I'll be able to. And then
Mm,
people receive it in a much more open way than I ever imagined they'll be able to. And then it opens up this whole different level of intimacy. Yeah. So I feel like judgment and embracing all the fucking judgment I have and that we
yeah.
all have has been this surprising thing that like my therapist is pushing me on. So yeah, I don't know. I think I had a lot of shame about like, oh, you're never supposed to be judging anyone, but that's
Like
just a
being
lie.
judgmental.
Just a
Yeah,
lie.
it's so interesting that you're talking about this, like admitting that you were feeling judgmental, then releases the pressure about it or something. Ryan and I had a similar breakthrough a while ago about blame, which I feel like is a similar like taboo
Mm,
thing. Like don't get, don't blame people for doing stuff. Like you need to just own how you feel about something. Um and so anyway, I we were having this like recurring issue and I was like, I feel like when you say that, it feels like you're blaming me for X. And he was like, I'm not blaming you. It's just this. And as we kept talking about it, I was like, but if we reverse the roles and I'm in your shoes, I would blame you if you did that thing. It's okay to blame me. And I was almost like, hey, for a second, could you just lean into the idea that maybe you are placing blame on me and maybe that's
mm-hmm.
okay. And he was like, okay, yeah, I could be open to that. And then literally, like, we had this huge breakthrough in this recurring issue we had
Wow.
been having simply because he admitted, I gave him permission to admit that he was blaming me for something,
Wow. That's
and then
so
he
cool.
admitted it, and then it was like, okay, now it's not like weighing on us anymore. it was
Yeah.
a it was a wild thing, and I think that works for a lot of
Yeah.
these like heavy words that make you feel like you're a bad person if you judge or if
Yeah.
you blame. It's like just name it and admit it and you can move on.
Because it's what's true. I feel like, yeah, that's a great example because I feel like people who listen to this podcast, or you, me, Ryan, Justin, we're all people who, have a certain sense of pride and identity in trying to do these healthy, growing, therapeutic things in our relationships. And so to think that I might be judging, or I might be blaming, or I might be doing something that I've labeled as petty or less
Yeah.
healthy, but it's still very, very human. It's actually just like a denial of what is true and a denial of what's really happening. And then that really stops
The
progress and that
progress.
stops communication. So that's so cool that you were able to like pause and give him the space to do that. That is completely kind of an example of what, yeah, I feel like my therapist is pushing me to do.
Hmm.
Because if you're operating in this world where like we're all perfect and we've never had a judgment or we've never thought a nasty thought, then we're just not being honest anymore. But you can kind of like hold it and still explore it and move forward. Yeah. That's
And it's
awesome.
like, as the person on the receiving end, the person feeling blamed or the person feeling judged, if you keep insisting you're not blaming me or you're not judging me, then I feel invalidated. I'm like, but that's how I
Uh-huh.
feel. That's how I'm receiving it. So there
Yeah.
was also something about that too, of him just being like, yeah, I guess maybe I'm open to the idea that I'm blaming you for this thing. It made me feel like, oh, I don't have to convince him anymore that I feel blamed and now we can move on. Like we were stuck
Yeah,
on like I just need to feel validated for a second and then we
that's
can
funny.
figure out, what to do next. And instead this just passed us right through that hurdle. So, yeah, I think that's very timely that you brought that up because I've been thinking a lot about it lately and I do think it is relevant framing for the episode because we are probably judging, but that's normal. And you sent us your stories, and that's what Am I the Hater is for. I also want to say before we get into the first one, because we have like a few long ones to go through, and they're nuanced, and people sent us a lot of detail, which is great. And then at the end, we'll do scratch that, Abby, because we might cut it into the middle. And then later, we'll also do like rapid fire ones. So we have a mix. But there was one submission that I read and just burst out laughing in the rapid fire submissions we got on Instagram. So I asked people like send us quick, almost hot take style, am I the haters to react to? And this person just wrote, it enrages me when I'm out walking and see an old woman staring through their window. That's it. That's what they said. I read that and was like, bah! I
I
I don't
I
know if I
feel that.
relate, but
No,
I don't
I
know if you're the
relate.
hater. I don't know. You're owning it, and
Yeah,
it
yeah, they are the hater, but I just agree with that and I can't put words to it and I won't, but
it
I
was
that's
so good.
correct.
It was so good. I just felt like it set the tone.
Should we do number one?
Let's do number one. Okay, here's the first long write in about Am I the Hater? This person said, basically, I felt unappreciated by my
Wait, 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 wait,
husband.
wait. Wait, wait,
Oh,
wait. I think you should read the title.
I just put in these titles.
Oh,
They're
okay.
not from the, yeah,
I
but I
think
can
that's
read the
I think
title.
that's I think that's a helpful summary though. That
Okay,
helps
okay.
hear it better. Yeah.
I hear you. Okay.
I like it. Yeah.
Um, so this one, the title is Am I the Hater for Asking for Gifts from My Husband? I'm going to ramble, and I think that's what you guys wanted. There's a lot of details I got to give. Basically, I feel unappreciated by my husband for not receiving gifts from him. The reason being he's been giving little things to his family, who we see often, a chocolate bar he knows his dad likes, snacks for his little sister. It seems to me he's always thinking of them to show appreciation by giving them little things, but he never does that for me. I let it go for a while, but this week he gifted his sister with a little cake and chocolates as a little present because, quote, she's working hard on her assignments. She's in college. I have a very, very good relationship with his family. His parents have done a lot for us. I see his sister as a sister I never had. I love her, and I even have gifted her little things myself. One of those things I love about my husband is how close he is with them. So, this feeling of mine has nothing to do with jealousy. I just feel like I just felt like I wasn't doing anything worth him wanting to surprise me with a little thing he knows I like he does with them. I felt underappreciated because he gifted his sister with something for her hard work and nothing for me, even though I just achieved a very, very important goal in my life recently. One he helped with and knows pretty well how hard it was. I talked to him about it because thank God we're best friends and have great communication. I never feel like I can't tell him something. He thought it was jealousy at first, but did understand in the end. I kind of feel so diva for asking, though. Was it the right thing to do? I don't like chocolates, so I brought up the fact that I've been hinting that I want flowers from him every once in a while, and he hasn't done so. For reference, we're 4 months married, 3 years together. I kind of think it was my fault because when we started dating, I mentioned how I didn't like flowers. And disclaimer, I do. I didn't know how to express that at the time. I don't like the very cliche, extravagant bouquets that are common where we live, but I love flowers and I would like that from him. It's a little thing he could surprise me with, like he does with his family. I'm also trying to not have the feeling that that if he does it now, it's only because I asked and not because he felt naturally inclined to do. So I'm confused. Am I in the wrong? Okay. Okay. Am I the hater? Am I the hater? You go first because I just talked for a while and I need to decompress from reading.
Okay. I totally get the feeling. I like the submission because I feel like it's pretty relatable being torn up about like, am I a diva for this thing that I could spin as being superficial and whatever else you want to label it? But absolutely no, I don't think the listener is the hater at all. I think Because the way I see it is like she sees this little like thoughtful gift giving. These aren't like it's not cars and jewelry and like, oh, I want you to buy me more diamonds. It's like a little chocolate bar that you thought I would like or something that acknowledges this huge milestone. Like it's thoughtfulness. And
Mm-hmm.
the fact that she sees this is his love language with the
Mm-hmm.
people he loves, and then she is not the recipient of that love language, I would absolutely feel the same. I would absolutely feel the same. And I feel like if she explained it all to him the way she did to us, um, I would be I would be pretty shocked if someone couldn't understand that. I find it very understandable. I even read this one to Justin right before we recorded to get a guy's take, and he was like, "No, that's so relatable. Like, of course that makes sense." And I understand being like, oh, well, I maybe it's my fault because before I told him I didn't like flowers, but I actually do, and blah blah blah. Number one, you're allowed to update your preferences
Yeah.
through a long-term relationship. You're allowed to say, you know how before I said I hated PDA, now I like PDA. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
allowed to evolve. You're allowed to say, I know I said that before and now it's changed. This is how I feel about it now. There's like not that's going to happen. There's nothing wrong about that. It does feel a little weird, but I think for someone who really just cares about you, they're not going to be weirded out by that.
Yeah.
And then I know she also touched on this feeling of being like, oh, I'm a little in my head about like if he just starts giving me gifts now,
Yeah.
I'm going to think, oh, he's just doing this by force. And I also know that feeling. I actually had a pretty parallel situation, which I've referenced on here before with Justin. Early in our relationship, he did not do words of affirmation.
Yeah.
And he had, when I kind of talked to him about it, I was like, oh, I noticed you're not like very mushy or expressive over text or blah, 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 or in your words. And he had the most psychotic, like, Roomba response ever. And he was just like, well, I don't really understand what the point of words are. Like, anybody can write anything in a text. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it means anything. It could be a lie, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, psycho. Um, and so I just tried to accept it, but it continued to really bother me. And there continued to be this unmet need. And I didn't think, I had the same idea. I was like, oh, well, he can't do it. It'll be mechanical. It won't mean anything to me. So we should just break up. And I basically almost broke up with him early on in our relationship. And he was like, whoa, 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 stop. Like, I can do this. Like, I didn't know you need, like, if you need it, yes, I can do this. And we kind of proceeded warily. And I was like, ugh, this is probably going to feel mechanical. But, and you know, it does feel mechanical a little bit because he
Yeah.
has to get used to doing it. He has to get more natural at it. And I have to give him time to believe his sincerity. And the feeling is there. I'm just asking for the words too. And now, you know, within a month or two, I think I didn't question it at all. And it's just a very natural part of our relationship now. So I get the awkwardness. I get how it feels mechanical. And I also think these things are they're just learnable skills. It's like
Yeah.
it's learning a new language. You can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think whenever that feeling comes up of like, I've asked for a need to be fulfilled, and I feel like now if he does it, it's just because I asked and whatever. Flip the roles. Like in reverse, if your partner asks for a need to be filled, at least for me, how I feel is like, oh, thank God you told me. Like, you took the guesswork out
Yeah.
of it. I don't have to read your mind. You communicated that you have this need, and now it sets me up for success. I'm able to deliver on it. Like, something I've talked about a lot is Ryan's need for more alone time than like what I usually need. He has to communicate that with me, and then I don't think when I give it to him, he's like, oh, she's only giving me alone time because I asked. Who the fuck cares? He got his alone time and I'm over here doing my thing, and like it's all fine. So if you flip it, I feel like it's so easy when you're the one who's asking for a need to be filled to think like, oh, it's not natural, it's not what they want to do, like they're only doing it because I asked them. But if you put yourself in the shoes of the person who is fulfilling the need, it's helpful.
Yeah.
And the reason you're filling it is because your partner needs it. It's not for any other
Yeah.
it's not because it's insincere. It's just maybe
I
you
feel
didn't
like that's
realize before and
yeah,
now you realize.
I feel like that's just as sincere too. If you're like, oh, they wouldn't normally do this, but they're just doing it because they know it means a lot to me and they're able to maintain doing it. It's
Yeah.
like that's still love. What else is that? That's
Yeah.
okay. And
Yeah,
it could
that's
become
all it
natural.
is. But I
I would
do
be
think
s-
I
Mhm.
agree, like this person is not the hater. I feel for them a lot, and it's frustrating to be consistently asking. And the point you made about like he's demonstrating that this is one of his love languages that he's able to give to other people. So it's bizarre that he's not showing up in that way with her even when she's asked for it. I almost wonder if on his like if he's thinking, "Oh, now if I do it, she'll only think it's because she asked." Like maybe you just really need to spell it out in the way that you did in the message to
Yeah.
us and just clear all the air and be like, listen, there doesn't have to be resentment about this. There doesn't have to be like a whole, history of, oh, you do this all the time for your family and I've asked you and you haven't done it. Can we just like clean slate and now it's something I want and now and
Yeah.
can you just go do it? Like maybe you just need to free each other of the history and the weight that's on it.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I'm giving the partner the benefit of the doubt, honestly, that like they would want to
Well,
try to fulfill the need.
I wasn't clear if I wasn't clear if she had told him. She said she told him about this. I wasn't clear if now he's still not doing it, basically.
I think that's what she's saying.
I couldn't tell if she was like he
I
wasn't
talked to
doing
him
it
about
and then
it.
I told him and he got it, but was it stupid of me to ask? I couldn't tell if he was still resisting. And I just wish
Oh, I
I'd
see.
be
Yeah.
s- I'd be so curious to hear what his end of the story was for why he did it for his family, but thought she did she just like didn't want it or something. Because something like, "Oh, you told me way back you don't like flowers, you don't like chocolate." That would make so much sense to me as his response.
Yeah.
Because unless the response is he just doesn't care about you and doesn't care about your needs and doesn't care about your feelings, which it doesn't sound like that's the case at all. Unless it's that, then it has to be I think something that would make it all make sense. I would want to get to
Yeah.
that piece that makes it all make sense because I bet there is that piece.
Yeah.
If you
I
guys are
agree.
best friends and you have great communication, I don't think it like I don't think it's just I don't know.
And actually, I think you're right. Like the way she wrote it is that they talked about it, he understood. And now she's just having second thoughts about like, was I being a diva? So I think maybe there's a chance that he's now doing what she's asked.
Yeah.
But in which case I'm like, don't overthink it. Like you don't need to keep thinking about it and wondering if you're the hater, if you're the diva. Like you communicated and he listened and he's trying now. And so
Yeah.
that's the whole point of communicating. So I don't think you did the wrong thing by bringing it up to him at
Yeah.
all. And hopefully that's like paying off. But yeah, I agree. I would want to get to the bottom of like what was his thought process before. Maybe it's also something of like, I don't know. Gifts are such a strange love language to me. Not to invalidate, I know it's literally one of the five love languages that people talk about, but I just feel like there's something a little different about them compared to other love languages. For me, like, I think you can, I think I make a incorrect assumption sometimes that somebody who likes to receive gifts also likes to give gifts, and somebody who likes to give gifts also likes to receive gifts. What I mean by that is like if Caroline, you got me a gift all the time, like if you just, every time we saw each other, you gave me a gift, I would then be like, oh, Caroline really loves gifts. I should start getting her gifts because that's how she's showing up. It
We
must
have to
mean
be
something to her.
equal.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's something like equal and balanced about it because it's like a thing, an item of monetary value or something. It wouldn't be that in my head. It would just be more like, oh, she's very gift oriented. So maybe she likes that. So I would want to make her feel loved in that way too. I guess that where I'm going is like, there's a world in which, the listener who wrote into us maybe doesn't give gifts to her partner, and so maybe, and then she's communicated to him, like, I don't really care about flowers. And then maybe he's just like, okay, she doesn't really give me
That's
gifts.
not a thing
She
here.
doesn't really like
Yeah.
flowers. Maybe that's not a thing. Whereas maybe in his family, it's always been a big deal to like
Totally.
give gifts to each other.
Yeah, I do agree that I feel like when I think about the big gift givers, I know they are not that into receiving gifts. It's not like
Yeah.
I feel like almost everybody I know, I always feel pressured to give gifts back, and they like kind of don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it is
They
like a
just like,
one way, the same way any love language, like Ryan gives acts of service, he doesn't really care about receiving them. So like
yeah,
it does fit that mold, but something about it calls for an
yeah,
equivalence that like maybe it is incorrect but is often assumed. So anyway,
you're not
write
the
back to
hater.
us and tell us how this is going,
Yeah,
please.
I do want to hear the follow up.
Yeah,
I definitely, maybe we could do a follow up episode.
that would be cute.
All
Okay,
right,
moving on.
moving on.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Yo, dog, if you're still listening to this podcast and haven't tried therapy, I don't know. I don't know if this ad's going to work on you. I'm kind of confused that you're even still here, to be honest. I feel like you're still here because you might be curious about it. So let me just break it down for you. Caroline and I have both talked about our positive experiences with all different kinds of therapy. It honestly has made all the difference with my anxiety, with how I show up in the world, how I talk about myself, how I communicate in relationships. And I really do believe that it can be that for anybody if you just give it a try. That's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it's super convenient. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, it's affordable. Traditional in-person therapy can cost anywhere from $100 to $250 per session. I logged into BetterHelp the other day with our code, and they were offering me $80 sessions, which is honestly such a game changer. Therapy is so valuable, and that is such a low barrier to entry. So if you've been sitting on the decision of whether or not to start therapy, stay seated because from your couch, you can download BetterHelp right now and get started. Your well-being is worth it. Visit betterhelp.com/notforeveryone, fully spelled out, today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/notforeveryone.
All right, moving on. This next submission is called Am I the hater for being pissed at people who showed up to my party with all their kids? My girls, I am a 38-year-old female. My husband, 40-year-old male, threw a 40th birthday party for my husband at our home. It started at 3 p.m. We put on a barbecue dinner, bring your own drinks. The party was, much to my dismay, large, around 80 adults invited. His friends, my friends, both our family and his family friends. A lot of our friends have multiple children. Side note, I'm currently 3 months pregnant, and it was a 2 year road to get here. So it's not like we hate kids. Only a select few friends and family knew about the pregnancy before they arrived, and the party was right after all the initial scans and tests. So it was a great time to tell everybody. And thank God, because me staying sober at this thing would have been a huge giveaway. Anyway, we figured there would be a couple people who might not be able to find sitters for their kids and would bring them, but figured they would tell us when they RSVP'd, at which point we'd remind them that we're childless, so there are no toys at our house, and it's not childproofed, so plan accordingly. We didn't mention children on the Facebook invite at all. No one RSVP'd for their children, so we worked with the assumption that they've managed to ditch them for the afternoon/evening. We catered the whole event to the amount of people that RSVP'd. Now imagine our surprise when his friends start turning up with their kids, aged all the way from toddlers to school age, so like 6-ish, 7-ish, I guess. They sit themselves down, get comfortable, and proceed to not watch their children, who have formed a mob and proceeded to run riot all over our house and yard. They didn't bring anything to entertain them. My brother had to stop one random kid from playing tug of war with a garden hose connected to the house. My mother had to stop another kid from chucking a chair into the garden. Someone pulled out my husband's croquet set, and the kids were swinging the wooden mallets at each other. The balls are still missing. They ran up and down our hallway, coming in and out of shut off rooms. I had to confiscate my husband's skateboard that they'd found in a random spare room and were riding through my living room. I had to tell a kid not to twist themselves up in my curtains. The party wasn't even indoors. It was very clearly set up to be outside in the yard. I had closed off everything but the lounge directly off said yard in case it got cold and whatever, but it was very clear where the party was supposed to be. There were probably about 10 kids, but it felt like many, many more, with the amount of noise and carnage in their wake. Their parents didn't get up once, just completely ignored them until they finally took them home after 9 p.m. I am outraged at the audacity of these breeders. Why they expect to take their goddamn crotch goblins anywhere they like and not watch them and not bring them entertainment is completely beyond me. I have a Labrador, and if the situation were reversed and I turned up to a dogless person's party without saying anything and expected my dog to be fed and entertained and kept safe, but did nothing to facilitate that, I'd be told to go fuck myself. And rightly so, I think. Am I the hater?
I fell in
Tess.
love when I first read this email. I was like, this is my girl. She introed it and said, my girls, this is my girl. Um, I think the thing that is worse than your friends not telling you that they were bringing their children is the fact that they showed up and their kids were fucking reckless. Like it's it's all bad. It's all bad. And I'm like, you have very bold friends, the audacity of these friends. But it's one thing for them to show up with their kids, and it's another thing for them to show up with their kids, not have told you, and then let them like run loose on your house. So first of all, you're not the hater in my mind. You are a normal person with decency and respect and boundaries, and you've been played. Um, I also think that it's funny. Like, as I talk about this, I feel the same need that this listener wrote of like validating that I don't hate kids. Just because these people, like, the problem is not the kids, honestly. The problem is the parents. The kids
Totally.
showed up and were not,
And they were kids.
they know nothing about the RSVPs for a party. They know nothing about when you go to a person's house how you're supposed to behave unless their parents teach them and unless their
Yeah.
parents put that kind of structure and discipline and support around them. And so, yeah, it's not the kids' fault. I don't think that you hate kids from what you've written here. You are a reasonable person who assumed that your friends would respect your home when you threw this party, and they did nothing of the sort. And it's totally on the parents and not on you for hating kids and not on the kids for running amok because they have shit parents. That's just how I feel about it. Yeah, that's my initial take. Like I would be so mad. I would be so mad and I would
Mm-hmm.
maintain my title as the lover.
Yeah, you are not the hater. I agree. Like, yeah, listen, kids are going to show up places and they're going to be kids. We know that. They're not going to act perfectly or ideally. They're children. It's their job to be children, and that means they come with plenty of inconveniences and loud moments and blah, blah, blah. Um, which is why every single of my friends who have kids, which is a lot of my friends, even when I see them routinely and they bring their kids routinely, they always check with me before. All of them. They always check with me before. And they say something like, we're bringing their iPad, or they're going to do this, or like, they're sick, we can't leave them at home, or blah, 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 babysitting fell through. But they always, always check. They
Yep.
always check. And I think that's the move. And honestly, even if like these people checked and showed up, it would make the whole thing different. I think I'm more mind blown that so many of the families, like none of them checked about bringing their kids.
Totally. That's
So it
shocking.
makes it makes me want to see the Facebook invite. Was there a typo on the Facebook invite? What
Mm,
happened? But she also said that when people RSVP'd, they did not RSVP their kids, which makes me think it was like a literal head count RSVP of like
yeah.
how many people are coming. So if they did that, I mean, we don't have the details, but if they RSVP'd how many people are coming and didn't count for the kids, then we get to shoot them. We get to shoot them all.
Well, I definitely think like if this were me, the way that I do my, evites for parties is like very specific. I say don't
Totally.
bring friends,
I
you
think
know.
I
I'm
think
like,
you
don't
needed to,
even bring your
yeah.
friend. Don't even bring an adult person who I have not
Yeah.
invited. If I
Yeah.
don't want that. Or some parties, I will say, bring anyone. It just depends on the party. But I'll be very explicit in the
I
invite.
think you need to put it on the invite. If you
I
really
think
don't
you
want
need
them
to be.
there, you got to put it on the invite. We
So I
love
think
we
she's
love
learned
your
that
kids.
lesson.
Yeah, we love your kids, but this isn't the night for them.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if they're going to be pissy about that, I don't know. I understand people being pissy. I understand that it is hard to find a sitter. It's hard to do this. It's hard to do that. Totally. But both are hard. And yeah, what do I want to say here?
Well, it's
I feel
like,
like it's like single, like childless people are often asked to have all of this empathy for what it's like to have kids. And people with children are like not really asked. I don't know, maybe I'm making an unfair generalization, but I feel like, well, then people with kids can also return the empathy of what it's like to just want to have a 40th birthday party without the children. It's
mhm.
like, okay, there can be empathy on both sides. Nobody's needs or situation is really in the wrong, but I do feel very like as headstrong as I personally feel about having children. I also feel very headstrong about maintaining space for you to be an adult person. And you have to fight for it. It is hard to do. You have to fight for that space when you have kids and intentionally want to keep it. And it's not easy, but I just personally believe, personal opinion, it is worth a lot for everyone to maintain space for you to be like your own adult and still do adult things that aren't always colored by having kids. And like, of course, life will look different before and after kids, but I've met the parents who do that, who make sure to still have space for them to be an adult and go to an adult party or do this or have their sanity time. And I just think that's really important, having watched plenty of families who let themselves be run into an asylum because kids run their lives. And like the kids are then the
Yeah.
boss of the family. It's like horrific to see.
Oh, totally. And I mean, the thing that's weird about this to me is like you and I are aligned with this listener writing in and being shocked and appalled that
Yes.
people behaved in this way. And we think about the friends that we have who have kids and who don't have kids but want them and so on and so forth. And like, it would be very hard for me to imagine this playing out in my life because my friends are very good about like checking if they can bring them or you know being prepared with like something to entertain them or food for them or whatever. So that's what's like shocking to me about this is that this listener
Yeah.
seems to have a pretty normal head on her shoulders when it comes to this kind of stuff, but somehow her friends are totally misaligned. So I agree with you. Like the Facebook invite I would love to see it. I would
What
love to
happened?
see like
Send
what they
us.
interpreted.
Actually, can you please follow up with the Facebook invite?
Yeah, that would be great. Like just a
Please.
screenshot of it would be awesome. As much as I want to see the Facebook invite and I want to see like why these people thought this would be okay, I also think that if nothing was mentioned about kids at all on the invite to a 40th birthday of people who don't have children,
Yeah.
then I
Yeah.
would still check. Like that's the thing. I would, and if I really needed to bring, if I
Totally.
really couldn't get a sitter, that's the thing. It's like this person seems reasonable. The listener seems reasonable. I feel
Yeah.
like if some of her friends said, "Hey, we can't get a sitter, but we really want to come to the party. Can we bring our two kids? We'll make sure that they are like kind of entertained and fed." Then the listener would have been probably like, "Sure, no problem. Like I understand and they can come." But she's not just leaving it like open invite, open ended, and you don't have to, you can show up and not take care of your kids. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just like she seems reasonable and she seems like she would have been okay with a couple kids showing up.
She said she was. She said she expected some would come with some kids or blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
exactly. But it's like the fact that not one friend did that check is shocking to me. It's truly
Yeah.
shocking. I don't, I like, I would question my friends after that, to be honest. I would be like, wow, I'm really misaligned with the people in my life. I don't want to make it bigger
Yeah.
than it is, but I would really, it would really make me question things. So she has a good sense of humor about it. And I don't
Yeah.
know that I would be able
That
to.
you
I
would.
think I would be pissed.
Yeah, I feel so tense talking about these topics because I feel like people listening who have kids are like, you don't understand what it's like. It's so hard. We need a break and nobody cares and la la la. Totally. Totally.
Yeah,
I
all
don't
things can be
disagree.
true.
I don't disagree. And I don't
this
know. I
party
just
wasn't
feel
the time for
like,
your break. I mean, it's not a break because you brought
well,
them.
it also could have been a break if you just got a sitter.
Got a sitter. Yeah. And if you can't get a sitter, that's fine. Just communicate with the person. Nobody's saying that you can't have your kids and that you can't bring your kids and you can't love your kids and that your kids can't have fun and you can't. Nobody's saying anything negative about you
Also,
being a parent and having your kids. It's just
the fact,
respect
I
other
know.
people's space.
Yeah. Well, I do think it's like, yeah, as much as like a kid obsessed person as I am, I do feel like it's unfair that there's this kind of like trump card of priority
Yeah.
for people who have kids. It's like, well, whatever their priority is wins, or whatever their needs are wins. And you can live that way if that's what you really believe, but you're probably going to lose a lot of friends. So just know that's a consequence because it doesn't really make sense. If your
Yeah.
friends' needs and priorities and desire for their kind of party will never take priority unless they have kids, expect to lose those friends. I don't
Hmm.
see that as like a fair way to engage. And yeah, it's messy and it's hard. I mean, I've had to have this conversation with friends before of being like, "Hey, I need like an adult. I need an adult hangout. I need the kid not to come to this one." And it was a really hard
Thing to
conversation
say.
the multiple times we've had this conversation, and they also were reasonable people and we fucking made the way through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a reality. I mean, it's like having kids is hard, and this is one of the things that makes it hard. Like, in addition to the literal having children and raising children and making that a part of your day-to-day life, yes, I acknowledge all of the aspects of that that are hard. But another thing that's hard about it is maintaining your friendships and your adult relationships and like um giving credence to who you were before and who your friends still need you to be and people still need you to be in their life. Like, it's hard. I get that it's hard.
Yeah, it's not easy.
But that's why we're
Uh,
talking about it. It's a hard thing, and
mhm.
you don't get to just kind of be like, "Oh, it's a hard thing and I don't want to play." Like, no. It's a hard thing and you got to figure out a way to play if you want to keep those relationships. I totally agree. The other thing I
I
thought of while
just,
you were saying
oh yeah.
it's kind of a trump card sometimes is like I was just saying this to a coworker who's planning to take a month off for medical leave, and they need to kind of like go through some certain protocol to get that approved and whatever. It's a coworker who's childless planning for medical leave and feeling so anxious about the fact that she's going to take a month off. And I was just saying to her like, "Hey, we'll figure this out. We'll make sure that it works. This is time that you need for yourself for health reasons. Like, there's there's absolutely a way to make that work and we will." And then I kind of reminded her like, think about folks who take parental leave for months and months. The company lives on, the team lives on, and that's a very normal thing, as it should be. I believe that people should have long amounts of parental leave available to them because that's a huge thing in your life that you need time to focus on and recover from and rest from and spend time with your baby. And I don't need to prove that I think parental leave is a good thing, okay? But it's also okay for a childless person to take leave for whatever their needs are. And I was just trying to make the parallel for her of like,
Yeah, that's a
it's
great
very
point.
normal for our coworkers who have kids to leave for 4 months and nobody bats an eye, and we shouldn't. And in the same way, like, you can leave for a month and it has nothing to do with kids and it's not for a normalized reason necessarily. Um, but that's still okay. Like, you get to have whatever
Yeah.
your thing is too. So I feel very strongly about that. I feel like it comes up in so many parts of life where
Yeah.
it's like just because you're childless doesn't mean that you don't have stuff going on, doesn't mean that you don't get to have like boundaries about the way that your 40th birthday party goes. Like, you're
Yeah.
allowed to have preferences and boundaries and needs too, and those should be respected and not just trumped because you're a childless person. So anyway, for
Great,
what that
great
example
parallel.
is worth. Yeah.
Great parallel. I'm also shocked that not one fucker got up at this party and was like, "Wow, we're taking all the kids to the basement and we're putting on a movie." Like there's a way to contain this chaos to some degree. I do hate that when people won't. I just had this experience recently and it was
Yeah.
wild. I was like, "Do you want me? I'll do it." I'll put the kids in the basement. Let me help you.
That's so true. It is really it just keeps getting more shocking. Every level of it is shocking. To sit there and just be like having fun at your friend's 40th birthday when your child is terrorizing the living room.
This is so common, actually. I think because parents are so exhausted and they're like, oh, I don't have to watch them here. They're going to be entertained, la, 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 la. But you're really putting that burden on someone else. And I'm not saying like you can't, whatever. It's annoying. Sorry, it's annoying.
It's
You want to do
annoying.
next?
Yeah. This one is, am I the hater for not wanting to share my birthday with my mother-in-law? Our birthdays are 5 days apart, and she turns 50 the same week I turn 30. She lives in Puerto Rico while my husband and I live in Florida. This fall, I start nursing school in addition to turning 30. Second career, woohoo. So my time for breaks will be very limited, especially since our birthdays will fall in September, which is a very busy month in the academic year. For the last 5 years, I have wanted to treat myself for an all out spa day for my 30th and a relaxed dinner date with my husband and some cake. My mother in law is wonderful and we have a great relationship. So she not only wants to celebrate together, but is asking us to fly back home to Puerto Rico for the weekend to celebrate with her. I don't want to tell my husband that I don't want to do that, but I also don't want to be a bad daughter in law. And I also want to enjoy my own birthday. And I'll be studying as well. Should I just go? Am I the hater? This is just extremely relatable content. I mean, I don't have a mother-in-law who has the same birthday as me, but I feel like this is such a dilemma that everybody will face once. There's some
Yeah.
family thing that falls on a
Yeah.
special day for you and you're like, it's kind of robbing me of my day and what should I do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm torn. I mean, I don't think you're the hater. I think this is very reasonable that you feel this way and I would feel this way too.
Yeah.
And I don't think that makes you a bad person. Um but I also do think the what to do of it, the trickiness of do I speak up or do I just roll with it is
Yeah.
tricky. I want to say yeah, tell your husband and try to get your birthday on your terms. And I also know that in real life that's really hard to do. And it's not just it's any birthday for the mom, it's the 50th. It's
It's
hard that
just crazy
they're
to me.
literally two big milestone birthdays.
I know, but it's crazy to me that one person, that the mother-in-law, would tell someone else how they're going to spend their birthday, no matter how close
Yeah.
you are. No matter how close you are. Only maybe with my best friend would I have the gall to tell them how they should spend their birthday by getting on a plane and flying to my territory and you spending it the way I want you to spend it. That's very bold. I don't
Right.
care what it sounds like. She has a really positive, close relationship with her mother-in-law. That's very bold. I think that is pretty. Um, I think I'm feeling the hater about that. I think that's
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Which I can totally see this mother-in-law still being like the loveliest, sweetest person, and oh, she just doesn't think about things that way, or she thought I would love it so much, but and the sweetest reasons behind it. But don't do that, guys. Don't tell somebody else how to spend their milestone. That's why would you not ask them how they want to do it, or why would you not? Well, I want to know is it the exact day of her birthday she has to be there because their birthdays are 5 days apart?
Right.
Can I mean, it sounds like it's all mixed together and that's why she's torn up about it, but I blame the mother-in-law for putting her in this position. And then it sounds like the husband has just taken the request on and
Yeah.
also put it
Just
on his
passive.
wife and not asked her if that's at all what she fucking wants too. I
Yeah.
blame both of them. And that's why it sucks. It's like two people you love and have a positive relationship with and care about the relationship have done something a little thoughtless. We don't have to shoot them for it, but it's a little bit of a faux pas. And now you are the one who has to figure out how do we deal with this. And that's
Yeah.
fucking annoying. It's annoying. You're not the hater. I'm annoyed.
I'm annoyed too. And I think the part about the husband is true. I feel like he's the one I'm most annoyed with because the mother-in-law,
Yeah.
it's mother-in-laws are annoying and
Yeah. They don't know how to be. They don't know how to be.
there's something about too she's Puerto Rican. I feel like I have immigrant parents parents from other cultures can be pretty presumptive. I think I can say that as someone with immigrant
Mm,
parents. They can be
yeah.
pretty presumptive. They can just be
Interesting.
like, "Oh, I know best about how this should be spent and
It's gonna be
family
great.
first." And so I
Yeah.
bet you want to spend it with your family because family first is our culture and so just come with me and we always do it together and I just very much can I know this mom. I know this mother-in-law.
Yeah.
And so, as much as it's annoying and like I wish she knew better, I also can accept that like she is who she is and she is where she's at and you got to meet her there. It's the husband who I'm like,
Yeah.
"What are you doing in all of this, bro? Like help your wife. How is this communicated?" Cuz the other thing, I wish we had this information. It's like how did the listener hear that the mother-in-law wants them to come to Puerto Rico for the birthday? Did the mother-in-law communicate it directly to the listener and her husband? Did the mother-in-law communicate it to the husband and then the husband communicated it to the listener? The reason I ask is because if the husband just came to the listener and was like, "Yeah, mom wants us to come to Puerto Rico for your birthday, like what do you say?" I don't know. It's like um
I'm annoyed.
was it an ask? Was it the mom being like, "Do you guys want to?" Or was it the mom? I guess my point is like if the mom asked him, but then he translated it into a prerogative, into a demand. Like he took what his mom said as, "You
Yeah.
guys need to come." And maybe the mom truly is just asking if this was like third party information. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm
Sort
not
of.
communicating well
I
today.
kind of feel like regardless of how it came through, I kind of feel like I want the husband to own, like he has a different relationship with his mom. Like no matter how close his
Yes.
wife and his mom are, I think he should own taking this fucking burden off of his wife's, you know,
But he doesn't
plate.
know, I guess, yet. Like
Okay, yeah.
she's saying, "I don't want to tell my husband
That's
that I don't
crazy.
want to do that."
That's crazy to me.
Right.
So this is like every single one of these submissions we've received. They've written out all the context, and it is not hard to empathize with being in the situation. Even if you ultimately land somewhere on a different side of the fence, like it's not hard to see why some of these feelings would be in there. It is not hard. And yet these moments happen all the time where you're like, how will anyone ever understand? It's like you just wrote it out.
Yeah.
Just read to
We
him what you
understood.
wrote. Just read to him what you wrote out to us. We understand that and we don't even love you the way that your husband does probably. Like how could he not understand this? It feels so it's like there's all these fears about like, oh, I'm a bad daughter-in-law, I'm a bad wife, I'm a bad woman, I'm not nice, am I selfish? It's like what you wrote
Yeah.
out doesn't sound bad or selfish or hard to understand at all. How can you not share that with your husband? Like literally sometimes for really hard things, take notes with you. I take my notes
Mm,
if I think it's going to be hard for me to remember all the context and things I want to share and what it means to me. I'll just say, like, I might have to read my notes for this because this is hard for me to talk about.
yep.
And, like, I do not see, I don't know why you couldn't talk to your husband about this. And, I mean, I'm, do we want to move on to like what I would do?
Yeah, let's move on to what to do.
What to do with it?
Um,
I don't, she is not the hater. I'm annoyed.
she's not the hater. I'm annoyed. And the last thing I'll say on
Yeah.
to validate that she's not the hater before we make it more of a what to do, I think it would be reasonable if all of the context was the same and you remove either your birthday or your nursing school thing. As in, if the mother in law wants you to come to Puerto Rico and you can't just because it's your birthday and you want to do something else, that is enough. On the flip side, if the mother in law wants you to come to Puerto Rico and you can't because you're starting nursing school that month, that's enough of a reason. Like,
Yeah.
basically, what I'm saying is you have double the reasons. You don't even need a reason. If you don't want to,
Yeah.
you don't got to go. But you now have like triple. It's like you don't need a reason. And then it's your birthday. And then you're starting nursing school. You have so much ammo in the tank of like the reason why this just doesn't make sense and isn't what you want. And should be a very understandable thing to say no to. So that's from an objective point of view, like
Yeah.
that's just the facts. That's just the facts. Now, it doesn't make it easy to communicate that, but those are the facts of the situation. Okay, go ahead.
So the way I feel is that like I think it should be in a way I think it should be easy to communicate this to your partner, to your husband. I think it should be. You just explained it to us. I feel like I completely get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Totally. Even if you still end up going to Puerto Rico, I would still explain how you feel to him about it. Now, expecting the mother-in-law to
To
get all of
understand.
this is that's not necessarily a given. Mothers and mothers-in-law, and it's a different relationship. I don't
Hmm.
necessarily think like a lot of mothers or mother-in-law or whoever would empathize on the same level, whatever. But your
Yeah.
husband, I think, should at least understand how you're feeling. And the way I think, I'll give an example. There was, well, like over a year ago, Justin and I started talking about wedding things. And as I've mentioned, he is Catholic and I am very not Catholic. And he told me he wanted to have like the wedding ceremony in a Catholic church, which I wasn't stoked about. But I also was like, I did this same self-talk to me about like, oh, is that selfish of me? It's just a ceremony. It's just some ritual that I don't think means much. So would it be selfish of me? Like I can just tolerate the ceremony. Like I can just do that. That'll be my gift to him. It doesn't mean anything to me because this isn't my religion. So like whatever, I'll just go do something. We'll get married. It doesn't mean to me anything to me. We can go have our reception, whatever. And so at first I kind of ignored my feelings about like this doesn't sit that well with me or I just don't want it. I just didn't want it.
Hmm.
But I also just had decided that my feeling of not wanting it wasn't valid enough. And so I was like, yeah, we can do that. It's okay. It's just a ceremony. And then I sat with that for a few months, and there were a couple incidents. I can't even remember what they were, but some incidents of interaction, or maybe we were talking about religion, or I truly don't remember what they were, that these moments happened with Justin, and I noticed this little spark of resentment in me, a little
Mm.
spark of resentment that I traced back to, but I'm giving you a Catholic wedding. And and I am so afraid of having resentment in a relationship because I know that doesn't go away and it doesn't turn into something good. And so I noticed these little sparks of resentment coming up that and in my head I was going, but I gave you a Catholic wedding. Like when when I was feeling robbed of something. And so I was like, fuck, I need to talk to him about this. And I eventually sat down with him and basically what I'd planned to say and what I did say was like, I need to talk to you about this. And let me be clear, I will do the Catholic wedding. I'm ready to
Hmm.
do it. I've agreed to do it. I'm going to do it. But I need you to know what it means to me. And I need you to know what it costs me. Because it does
Yeah.
cost me something. It's not the end of the world. We can still have an amazing marriage. It's just a ceremony. I know that. It's just a ritual. So it's not everything. And I'm not going to die on this hill. But I'm noticing that it does mean something to me. And I'm noticing this little bit of like anger and resentment that I really don't want to build between us. So I just want you to understand that this is actually pretty painful and insulting to me. And so I like told him this whole thing. And then at the end of it, he was like, whoa, okay, didn't know you felt that way about it. Like if I had known, I thought you just felt neutrally about the church because it
Yeah.
didn't mean anything to you. I didn't know it meant that. And he was like, and if you feel that way, then we're not doing it. Like obviously we're not doing it. And it wasn't a resentful thing and it wasn't whatever, whatever, whatever. We found another like middle ground option. But to me, there was like, and that was a really nice response from him. But I didn't even need that response. Truly, what
Yeah.
I needed was for him to know what the sacrifice involved there felt like and what it was costing me. Because if I didn't explain that to him, then later that's when you have resentment because you're like, but I gave this thing that I didn't want to give and you took it. Well, your partner can't know that you gave so selflessly unless you tell them that it feels like that to you. So to me, I feel like the key here is like maybe you still go to Puerto Rico because I do think it's easy to say like if you don't want to spend your birthday that way, you don't have to spend your birthday that way.
Right.
But the reality is there are relationships we care about, there are relationships we want to maintain, and you do sacrifice for them sometimes. So I feel like whether you go or not, I would just urge you to definitely tell your husband all the reasons that you are really looking forward to a moment to celebrate with him, a moment to relax, to pause when you're about to start a new career. who cannot understand that? Your husband of all people
Mhm.
should understand that, and how much you've been looking forward to that. I wonder if a lot of this like anticipation has been just private in your head and you think he knows, but maybe he doesn't know at all. Kind of like Justin didn't really know my feelings about this
That
Catholic
happens
wedding
so much where like you've thought about it so much, you've
so
talked to
much.
yourself about it so much
Yeah.
that you think it's just like a known thing at this point because it exists so
Yeah.
like forcefully in your head. And it's like, no,
And
they
that's
don't
how
know
I
yet.
felt. I was shocked. I was like, you didn't know I felt this way? Like, I feel like I've exploded about this a lot, but
Right.
he didn't know. And then even if you still like, I think if you do that, you can still decide intentionally to go to Puerto Rico if that's what you end up doing. If that aligns with your values of like, I did want this other birthday, but I'm also willing to make this sacrifice because this part of me cares about doing this thing for my mother-in-law, or because this is the kind of person I am that I care about maintaining this. And then you can make that decision intentionally, know why you're doing it. I'm doing it because I have this value and I care about upholding this thing, and I will make this sacrifice. And I just want my husband to know that this is a sacrifice and I'm making it and this is what it feels like, and maybe we can find some other compromise of how to celebrate later. Or maybe you don't go to Puerto Rico at all. But I feel like the major step is like you need to let him know the
Yeah.
resentment that you're going to have about this, or really just what it means to you.
I think that's really, really well said. And I think the resentment in this situation could look like, you know, the holidays come and his family wants you to go to Puerto Rico again, but you would rather do something else or you would rather be with your family. And to you, there's a scoreboard of like, well,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
sacrificed my birthday to be with his mom. I don't want to sacrifice this other thing to go do it again. We already took care of his family. Now I want to take care of mine or something. And that's how the resentment starts to build when you don't communicate exactly what this trade off means to you. So,
Yes.
yeah, I totally agree. It doesn't mean you don't go to Puerto Rico. You might end up going there. There's spas there. I hope that you can have a spa
There's
day,
spas there.
you know?
Yeah.
But I'm going there in a few months and I plan to go to a spa. So I know for sure that there are spas there. But what you do need to do is communicate what that trade-off means to you, because if you're
Yes.
just holding that, then that's how it shows up later. And then that's creating like a ripple effect issue for you and your husband that he's, first of all, not even aware of at this point.
Yes.
And yeah, sure, maybe you wish that he was aware of it. You think he should be. You're like, he knows me well enough that he should know. Okay, I get it.
We're
He
not mind
doesn't.
readers.
It's
We're
not
not
how it
mind
works.
readers. No,
Yeah.
you got this is the communication thing.
Yeah.
All the time, like, you talked about keeping score of this trade-off. He likely doesn't even know it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Christmas will come around and he'll be like, "But you had so much fun in Puerto
Right.
Rico. Why are you pissed about that now?" Because you didn't tell him.
Right. Done. We killed that. That was
Done, murdered it.
amazing. All right, listen up, kooks. I have said in the past that I believe you to be a smelly audience. I believe that we have aggregated a group of people here who know what it's like to deal with some BO moments. I just told a story 2 weeks ago about a very tragic bodily incident that happened in an elevator for me. That scenario wasn't so much in my control, but what is in my control is that I have Lumi deodorants on deck ready to go for every situation in my life. I would say my favorite Lumi hack is using the cream on my nether regions. It's a difficult area to maintain, okay? There's a lot of sweat. It's kind of like thighs rubbing together. And I can be really self-conscious when it's just not smelling quite right. As soon as I discovered Lumi, that changed for me. Let me tell you what I feel comfortable doing wearing Lumi. I feel comfortable when the person in the aisle seat on the plane doesn't get up to let you get past them to go to the bathroom. They make you walk with, the lower part of your body right in front of their face. When I'm wearing Lumi, I know that's not an issue. I don't feel weird about it. Not that that person deserves me to smell good, okay? But it's their lucky day. And of course, Lumi isn't just for those extreme situations. It can be your everyday deodorant. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash or the deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off of their starter pack. Use code not for everyone, fully spelled out, for 15% off your first purchase at lumedeodorant.com. That's code not for everyone at LUMEDEODORANT.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Lume. Okay, let's do some of these rapid fires because they're fun.
Ooh, a rapid fire. Okay, what are the rules for rapid fire?
Okay, so let me know what you think of this. We are never rapid fire. And I think with this list of rapid fires in front of me, like I'm going to want to talk about some of them in more detail. But
We can't be allowed to. We can't be allowed.
I think we can do a compromise. I think what we could do is we could give a rapid fire answer. And I was thinking we could do it in the format you did in that recent video that I liked, where you did like, I'm going to give 3 words on these men's rooms on Reddit. Remember when you did
Okay.
that? I
Yeah,
loved
yeah,
the
yeah,
3-word thing.
Okay.
So we can each give 3 words for the rapid fire, and then we could be done, or we could say, let's keep talking about it, actually.
Yeah, we made up the rules so we can break them. We're in charge.
It's our podcast. That's how it
Yeah. It's our
Okay.
podcast. Okay, so wait, what are we responding? Because these are am I the hater questions.
Yes.
So we're still saying yes or no, you're the hater, and then we give 3 words?
Sure, yeah. You can say yes or no to if they're the hater, and then 3 words to elaborate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Hit me.
Okay. Am I the hater if I think daddy-daughter dates are creepy and I hate the idea of them?
I'm gonna say yes, you're the hater, and then I'm gonna say I get it.
I say yes, you're the hater, and why use daddy? Like, why did we have to refer to them as daddy-daughter dates? You're automatically making it creepier. If I'm hanging out with my dad, it's very different
Daddy.
than hanging out with my daddy.
Poppy. I had a daddy-daughter date this week, and it was fucking so cute.
But did you call it that?
No, I called it Poppy Baby. Poppy Baby date.
Poppy baby date. Yeah, maybe
Little
that'll
sweet
make them like
baby.
it better.
Yeah, Poppy Baby date.
Okay. Am I the hater if I don't get out of the way when a line of people are walking towards me on the sidewalk?
No, you are not the hater.
Correct.
'Cause it's a line. That's 4 words. If it is a group of people, y'all are responsible for not being obnoxious. If
Yeah.
it's just 2 people, approaching me on the sidewalk, I think this responsibility is shared. I will fucking clothing line you with my arms. Like I will, I will run right through you.
Yeah, I totally agree. You're not the hater, and fuck those people are my 3 words.
Can I tell you something else crazy?
Yeah.
This is hater behavior. So I've gotten really sick of the moms are really going to get me for this episode. I've gotten really sick of children. I'm going to say over the age of 3, running around hanky panky style, expecting everyone to move out of their way. Like if
Hanky
you are
panky
old
style, does
enough,
that mean naked?
I think hanky panky actually means like sexy, dirty time. What I mean is willy nilly. Someone's corrected me on that before.
Okay.
I am fucking over a child over the age of 3 running around willy nilly style, expecting adults to get out of their way. Basically, these children are old enough to know that they can't run into a wall. So you have spatial understanding. And it's just the self-centeredness that is inherent in being a child, but I don't give a fuck. So this is the public service that I'm doing, is that I'm no longer getting out of the way for children over the age of 3. I will run them down. I'm doing it all the time in the streets, in restaurants, in hallways, in crowded areas. I'm teaching the children of the world to start paying attention to their surroundings, to start having a little bit of self-awareness because I'm knocking them to the ground. I'm not getting out of your way.
That's why you're a saint.
I am a saint. Thank you. Next question.
Some of these are like so-so. I'm going to skip to ones I really liked. Speaking of kids. Okay. Am I the hater for feeling sad / sometimes annoyed when women with kids cannot talk about anything else? For me,
tough one. It's a tough one.
For me, because she said sad / annoyed.
Yeah.
That's very much about her experience. I'm going to say,
yeah,
you're not the hater for me. Because me too is what I'm going to say. And I'll own that. That doesn't mean don't talk about your kids. I love hearing about your kids. But if it's the only thing
Look how
you can
scared
still
we
do
are
what
of
you want.
moms.
I
We are
can't
so scared of the
control.
moms. Yeah.
Oh, the moms have come for me. Listen up. I have a mom. I love moms.
This is
I
why
can
I
still feel
cannot
sad
wait.
and annoyed when you do what you do. That doesn't mean you got to stop doing
No.
what you're doing, but I can have my reaction to it. And that's just how I feel.
I've told you this before, but literally, I'm so excited to have kids because then I feel like I get a free pass on criticizing
Yeah.
mom behavior that annoys me. Because people right now are just like, well, you're not mom, so you don't know. That has
Oh,
nothing to fucking do with that has nothing to do with it. I'm a human being with eyes, okay?
it's the reason,
And
it's the only reason I think sometimes about having
about
kids so
having
that I
kids
can
is
talk about it. Yeah. So I can have an opinion on the matter.
so annoying. Yeah, I guess you're not the hater. Yeah, I feel bad for the moms. I feel bad for the moms and it's annoying to be around. I think the way that I feel, the judgment I have is just like, oh, there's another way. There is another way. And
Hmm.
I wish I could like help them is how I feel.
It's just like I know a lot of moms who do talk about other things. I think that's how I feel. Like when you say there's another way, I can hear someone saying, "No, there's not. This is my whole life and there's not another way." But the thing is that
But
I
I
know a
judge
lot of
that. I actually
parents.
judge that. I basically
Yeah,
judge anyone who makes one thing their entire life, including your kids.
it could
And
be
a lot of people are
anything.
people are going to unsubscribe for this, but I come from that watching, parents a mom who did that and I saw how fucking miserable it made her. And I've seen it this is not a rare occurrence. Like moms who make raising kids their whole world and they completely abandon any other sources of fulfillment in their life. I'm not saying it's easy to maintain other sources of fulfillment of your life,
Yeah.
but it's good for you. Going to the gym also isn't easy, but it's good for you. And I've just seen how many mothers it destroys. Like I literally my judgment of it is like I judge making your children your whole and exclusive point of fulfillment. I judge it the same way I judge someone who doesn't eat well, doesn't maintain their relationships, and doesn't go to the gym. Like, I
Hmm.
judge both of those. I think it's bad for you. That's
Hmm.
basically how I feel. I think it's really bad
Yeah.
for you.
And I've seen it done otherwise. So it's just like I know you can find something. You can find one
Yeah.
other thing to talk about. All right. This is kind of like gives me similar vibes to what we were just saying. Am I the
Okay.
hater for being tired of girls only events? Let me bring my husband. He's your friend too.
I agree. Not the hater, but I feel like so many of my friends disagree with me.
I disagree. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. This person said, "Let me bring my husband. He's your friend too." If he's
But
their friend
not
too,
she's not saying to all of them. She's saying like
well,
to
that's
some.
That's why I'm confused because she's saying he's your friend too. That means he comes sometimes. In order to be their friend too, he comes sometimes. So
I
why
think
can't
you're
you allow
overcomplicating
for
this.
girls only events? And it sounds like he comes sometimes.
Well, maybe it's like at parties and stuff, people have met each other. Like, I just had a conversation with one of my girlfriends about this, how, like, we've like this girl group of four. We all have husbands, boyfriends, whatever. And the boyfriends all know each other because we've met at fucking parties or Christmas or whatever the fuck, random shit. But they never come. I would say we only have girls only events. It's like
Yeah.
maybe once a year the guys come. So they know who each other is and they can hang out. But even she brought it up. She was like, I wish they could just like casually show up more sometimes. I mean,
But can't you
so,
make that
I
happen if
like
you
that.
guys feel that way? I guess it's different. It's like tonight I'm going out with my friends and I explicitly said to Ryan, I don't want you to come. I love
Yeah.
you. I love hanging out with you.
But I
And
feel like
my
that's what
friends
all
love
the
you
girls'
and love
hangouts
hanging out
are.
with you. I guess maybe I don't have enough of those, like at this current juncture in my life, where I'm
You
like,
have
those
more
are
integration.
precious and
Yes.
I want more of them.
So
And
you're
so,
so you don't have that many of them. I'm saying I live in a
yeah,
world
you
where
have a lot of them, I guess.
it's only girl hangout all the time. Yeah,
Okay.
this listener is tired of them. It's like
Yeah,
let's
I
have some
guess
different energy.
it's
Let's get
this
some cocks up in
spectrum.
here.
Where do you fall on the on the
Yeah.
spectrum of how often you're doing it? I Depending on where you fall, you can have a different answer. I still lean the way that I leaned, which is like just somebody who's asking about this. I'm assuming and judging a little bit that they're that person that's like always asking, "Can I bring Tom?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, dog, no, you can't. Like, maybe every once in a while, yes, when when Steve and Joe are also coming. But tonight is a girls' night. And if you don't want to come to girls' night and you'd rather stay home and hang out with Tom, that's your prerogative. But if you're coming, it's girls' night. I guess I just
Okay.
have a bit of a judgment about
Yes.
this thing.
Okay. What I hear you saying is that we need to have some nights that are protected as girls' nights.
Yes. Yes.
Agree. And the listener isn't disagreeing with that either. We do need to have some protected girls' nights. And then we have like other nights that it's like all the girls bring all their boys. Great.
Yes.
That happens fucking once in a blue moon because then like with my group of 8, my group of 4, we're trying to sync up 8 people's schedules.
Schedules.
So it happens once a year maybe. And what my friend Ashley and I were talking about over the weekend is we wanted to try um, adding a middle option where we still
Yeah.
keep girls' nights, we still keep, the full Halloween party where everybody comes, but then we're gonna communicate to our other girlies that like there's some days where the 4 of us girls are hanging out and we say open invitation to whatever boys are around.
Yeah.
And that they are welcome to come because all these boys are like nice boys who can hang. They don't like I think any one of them would show up if it's even if they're the only guy.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna have these middle ground open invitation where it's like if 1 or 2 guys are free, come. You don't have to wait for all 4 of the guys to come. And it's just nice. I mean, because the alternative is like my friend Ashley brought this up to me because she was like, I feel like I don't get to see Justin ever. Like I never hang
Yeah.
out with him. And then you guys are getting married and you're one of my best friends and blah, blah, blah. And personally, I've felt very self-conscious and aware of like, don't bring the boy
To
unless he's
everything.
invited.
Yeah.
But I think we need a middle ground of being like, this is an open invite to the boys. They don't have to come. Maybe only 2 come. But it's
Okay.
like, I feel like I only superficially know all of my friends' husbands and they're my best friends. And it's
Yeah.
lame.
Okay, I get that. I understand and appreciate that. I think my friend group happens to have a lot of the middle ground you're talking about.
Oh,
Like
okay.
we
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
gather and
Okay.
if somebody's partner is available, they come. If somebody's partner is not available, they don't come. And so we have a lot of like mixed bag
Yeah.
like hangs.
That sounds
And so
fun.
I've
I
been
like
craving,
that.
which is fun, but I've been craving like, okay, I just
That
want to
makes
be with my
sense.
friends. Like
Yeah.
which
Give me
I
the
do
hose.
one-on-one. I do a lot of one-on-one stuff with friends, but it's rare that I'm in a group hang
Yeah.
with just my girlfriends.
Which is special. It's
It's
very
like
special.
the group hangs are always a mixed bag. So
Okay.
that's we're just yeah, this is a very like projecting your own current experience one, which is good. Okay, what else? What else? Am I the hater for not wanting to go to my sister-in-law's second baby shower? It's giving buy me another present. No, you're not the
Yeah.
hater.
You're not the hater. I mean, I think wedding showers, baby showers are all weird anyway, unless you're literally in need. Like you can have a wedding shower or a baby shower with no gifts.
Yeah,
And you can
registries are bizarre to me.
you can have gifts if you want, but I feel like especially wedding showers, I feel like are so fucking weird where it's just like bridal showers, that's whatever the fuck they're called. Like most people still have these very like traditional weird bridal showers where it's all women just sitting up there with one woman in a throne and we're gifting her cleaning supplies and cooking supplies and things that she can do more household labor. I think it is so fucking weird that we still do this shit. Don't buy me a fucking vacuum. Don't bring me a fucking KitchenAid. Like, are you
Yeah,
kidding me? If
it's
you want to get
bizarre.
me something, it better be jewelry. Why are we doing this? And we all are living with our fucking partners already anyway. We have a home. Like,
Exactly.
I think it's
That's how I feel
weird.
about that stuff. I'm like, why am I buying you sheets? I've talked about this before.
Why am
But
I
on
buying you
wedding
sheets?
registries, why am I
Yes.
buying my friends who have lived together for 5 years sheets? I don't understand. Like,
And then
first of all,
yeah.
I wouldn't buy you
Mm-mm.
sheets even if you were just moving in together. That's a weird ass thing
No,
for me to
it's
buy you.
weird.
And second of all, you already have 3 sets of sheets because you
Yeah.
used, one of our discount codes and you don't need any more.
And the
So
sheets are
bye.
fucking ugly. These people, I can't get over these people. I won't do it. I can't do it. When people put ugly furniture on their wedding registry, I'm not paying
Ugh.
for that.
No,
I'm
I'm
not
not.
paying for
I
that.
don't choose something off the registry that I don't
That I
personally
don't
like.
like.
Because it's from me. If you're going to use that thing every day and I know that you're using that thing every day,
I
it
don't
better
want
be
it in your
something.
house.
Absolutely
I
not.
wish there was a registry option where you could bid against other things people
Yeah.
want to pay for.
I
If a
just
lot of people are
downvote.
bidding, yeah,
Downvote.
downvote, you don't get to fucking have that in your house. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many other options. Some people do like the honeymoon fund
I
or
like that.
why can't we help with the house down payment? I'm not opposed to that. I think a lot of
Agree.
wedding guests get really like up on their high horse about like, well, I don't want to just give money. I don't want to just give a check. Okay, so this gift is more about you than it is about actually helping these people who
Right.
already have towels and already have sheets. Like, I'll give you a check.
I totally agree. I
I don't
totally
care.
agree. Yeah, it's like that's just what's useful, and they're spending money on like you at their wedding, and that's
It's
just how it
weird.
freaking goes. Yeah.
But I guess baby showers are like a little different. I mean, I would definitely have a baby shower. Um, I think it is nice the baby showers I've been to where like oh my God, all the other older moms are like so wet to remind you that they were moms once. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
And but it is nice when people get to be like, "Oh, this thing was really helpful for pumping," or like, "I really loved this and that was a game changer," because you don't really know. So I guess that's nice, but baby number 2, dog?
Yeah, well, I can't tell in this. I
No.
don't even think it's baby number two. I think
She
it's
said
she had
second.
two baby showers for the same pregnancy. That's
Oh.
how I read it. Not wanting to go to my
I think
sister's
it's
second baby shower, so I'm
no,
thinking she had two.
I think it's a second baby.
Yeah, I guess that
Either
could
way,
be
it's
read either
stupid.
way. Either
I
way,
think they're both
no.
dumb. I
You
think they're both
already
dumb.
have the stuff from the first shower, whether it was first baby
Yeah.
or the first shower. You're done. You're done.
Yeah.
I liked this one. Am I the hater if there's people I'd want to be friends with, but I'm so annoyed by their friends, so no.
Lol.
I'm just giggling, just giggles.
Yeah. I understand the feeling, but I think you're stupid to act on it.
I think you are the hater, and I like that you're the
Yeah.
hater. That's what I'm gonna say. Like you're the hater, and I approve are my three words.
I think I probably dislike almost all of my closest friends.
I dislike a
Like
lot of
their
my
other
closest
group
friends, other friends. Yeah,
my closest friends, like a lot of my closest friends, like they have multiple
yeah,
friend groups and I don't connect with any of them. That's why they're in my own friend group of my people who I like.
totally.
I don't really like any of my friends' other friend groups.
I have some that I like, some that I don't like. I depending on the closeness with my friend, I will be pretty vocal about like, yo, I don't like that
Really?
person you hang out with.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I've
don't
said
like
that to
them like
Kai
they're
a couple
bad?
times.
I think usually I just think they're annoying. I don't think I have any friends that I'm like, you
Well,
shouldn't be friends with them.
no, yeah, no, not in that way, but more like if I keep getting invited to hang out, because like with
Oh,
Kai, we are so close that we transcend groups with each other a lot of the times.
we
So
transcend.
like it's the two of us and we're in a lot of different iterations of friend groups together.
Yeah,
And then she'll be friends with like my friends from college, or she's from college, my friends from work, and I'll be friends with her friends from law school and whatever. So there's a lot of overlapping rings, but there are certain friend groups of hers that I just like don't enjoy. And I've
yeah.
been but I'll get invited. So I've had to be clear of like,
This is
yeah,
what
I'm
I'm
just
gonna
not going
keep
to go
turning it
with
down.
you
Yeah,
when you don't need to feel like you need to invite me to those anymore. Like, I just don't
good
vibe
for
with that
you.
group and you're on your own, you know?
Was she insulted at all, or was she weirded out at all?
No, I think she kind of got it. She was like, yeah, it's very specific. Like, because especially if
Yeah,
it's groups that formed a little bit out of convenience, like if you were all in school together, if you were all like in some phase of life together and you've just stayed a group for longer, but maybe life has taken you in different directions, it doesn't mean you don't have anything to connect on, or it doesn't mean it's worth letting go of. You could very happily keep that group for a long time, but it may just not reflect like current day you as much as
yeah.
it did at the time when you became friends with them. And I feel like that happens a lot, and
I don't need to be a part of that.
I don't really like the version of people when they're with some of those old friends that bring certain things out in them, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It is so funny to me to just think about like how there's so many different dimensions of each of us that we need people to connect with. Like I don't know, the friends I laugh the most with, the friends I do therapy the most with, the friends I do childhood nostalgia with, the friends I bitch with,
Yeah.
or like Justin has like a friend or two that I don't ever need to see again, and that like all they do is talk about like philosophy and like
Mm-mm.
political this and like warfare strategy. And
No.
I want to blow my brains out. And I am so happy that he has these friends. So he has an outlet for this side of him
Mm,
that I will never satisfy. I
yeah.
will never. I will never talk to you about these things. And I'm so glad you have a couple really annoying friends that you can do that with. And please don't ever make
Don't
me
invite me.
out. Don't fucking invite me. I'm
Yeah,
so happy for you. Don't fucking invite me.
totally. I think that's very healthy. I have that with a lot of my friends. Um, and I think it's the right way. And they have it
Yeah.
with me too, I'm sure. You know, they might say no to
Yeah.
things
I feel like
that I
it's the
invite them to.
exception that you meet one of your friends' friends and that you love them. It's always weird. You're like, oh my God, she's amazing. It's like an exception that that happens.
I think definitely like loving them and connecting with them on that same level is an
Yeah.
exception. I think I've been told that this is unique and not, and a lot of people don't do this. Like, I love bringing my friends together. I love bringing my friends from different parts of my life together, like having the big birthday party and having people meet each other and making it an annual thing so they see each other a lot, or inviting people to a happy hour with like, it's all my work friends, but then you come too. Like, I really enjoy bringing people together. And I have had pretty good luck that my friends
That's nice.
generally like each other. But does that
Yeah.
mean they're like besties and texting each other separately? No, very
True.
rarely.
P.S. I have to go.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm gonna be late.
Okay, okay, okay. You can go. The last one was, "Am I the hater if no other podcast does it for me like you do?" Wink face, and I felt that that was the right note to send it
Ooh.
off on. You're the
You might
lover
you're the
and the
lover, but
hater.
you're also the hater, and that's why you belong here.
Yeah, take them
Sorry, that
out.
was so abrupt. I have to
No,
go.
no, it was good. Just you
I'm
do the
gonna be
outro.
late. This is it. This is the end. Send this to somebody who loves to hate with you. This is the place for haters. All are welcome in this place. We love you. We'll see you next week. Follow up with us if you have a follow up to one of these Emma the Hater bits. We will share it in an upcoming
Mhm.
episode. We are waiting on pins and needles. Okay, bye.
Bye.